You've probably heard of spirulina, a so-called superfood that's packed with nutrients. But what is it really? Is it worth the hype? And is it safe for everyone to consume? Today, we're diving into the history, benefits, and risks of spirulina and how you can use it in your diet. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Nisha. I'm an internal medicine resident passionate about preventative care and lifestyle medicine. So without further ado, let's dive in. So what is spirulina? It is a type of blue-green algae scientifically classified as cyanobacterium. It grows naturally in freshwater lakes and has been consumed for centuries due to its high nutritional value. The Aztecs were among the first to document its use, harvesting spirulina from Lake Texcoco, turning it into cakes called tequitlatl. And please pardon my pronunciation, I was unable to find a reliable source online. Independently, in Central Africa, communities around Lake Chad, particularly the Kanembu people, have for centuries collected spirulina from shallow ponds and dried them into cakes called dihe, which remains a traditional food to this day. Spirulina is called a superfood because of its high nutrient density. In terms of protein, spirulina's dry weight is about 60% protein. This makes it one of the richest plant-based protein sources in the world. Spirulina is also high in vitamins and minerals, specifically high in vitamin B12. This is a vitamin that is important in red blood cell formation and brain function. It's also high in beta-carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A, which boosts your immune system. Furthermore, spirulina also has iron, calcium, and phosphorus. These are essential minerals which are used in bone health and oxygen transport. Spirulina also has a high level of healthy fats, specifically omega-6 fatty acids, which help to reduce your cardiovascular risk. Sounds great, right? But let's take a look at what the research actually says about its benefits. First off is cardiovascular health. So studies suggest that spirulina contains peptides that inhibit the ACE enzyme and also enhance nitric oxide production from the endothelium. Both of these processes are crucial in reducing high blood pressure. Human trials also suggest mild benefits, but more research is needed to confirm this. For example, one randomized, triple-blind, placebo-controlled trial found that 8-week consumption of spirulina-enriched salad dressing significantly reduced blood pressure in hypertensive patients. Spirulina may also have a role in diabetes and glycemic control. Systematic reviews show that spirulina can reduce the fasting blood glucose and insulin levels. Spirulina can also inhibit DPP4, which is an enzyme involved in blood sugar regulation. Spirulina can also play a role in weight loss and obesity. One study showed that consuming 1 gram of spirulina per day helped overweight individuals lose weight and reduce appetite. In this study, 64 obese individuals aged 20 to 50 years of age were randomly assigned to receive either 1 gram of spirulina per day or a placebo for 12 weeks. The results showed a significant reduction in body weight and body mass index, or BMI, in the spirulina group compared to the placebo group. Additionally, spirulina supplementation significantly reduced appetite. And there are several other studies that suggest these findings that I'll link down below in the description box. But the TLDR is that although there are some promising studies showing a role of spirulina in obesity, more research is needed to confirm these findings before we can use this as a treatment mechanism. And finally, spirulina may also play a role in brain health and cognitive function. So antioxidants in spirulina may help to reduce oxidative stress, which is linked to neurodegenerative diseases. Some studies in vitro suggest that it may have neuroprotective effects. However, more human research is required to confirm these findings. So now let's talk about whether spirulina is safe to consume. So the biggest risk with spirulina comes from the risk of microcystin contamination. And this comes from a type of bacteria that has contaminated the spirulina. So this comes from poor quality spirulina that is farmed in a manner that's not regulated. So this may be contaminated with microcystins, which can cause liver damage. So to avoid this, always purchase lab-tested products to ensure safety. And don't go purchasing random back alley spirulina bags that you might find from an unregulated source. And furthermore, in this day and age, there's a lot of runoff from industrial waste that comes into our water supplies. And since spirulina naturally grows on top of freshwater lakes and ponds, there's a risk that there could be heavy metal contamination if you decide to farm these sources naturally. In terms of pregnancy and breastfeeding, there's just not enough research available, so it's not recommended to use this if you are pregnant or breastfeeding. And finally, keep a lookout for digestive side effects. So some users of spirulina may report some mild bloating, gas, or even diarrhea when they first start taking spirulina because of the effect it has on your gut microbiome, and it kind of changes the bacterial flora that you have already present. So you may experience some of these symptoms, but in majority of people, if you continue to take it over several weeks course, these symptoms tend to reduce. So my advice here is always to purchase spirulina from a lab-tested source. This is found in almost all grocery stores here in the US. And I would recommend starting with small doses and see how your body reacts over several weeks before increasing your dose. So how is spirulina used today? The standard dose is 1 to 3 grams of spirulina per day. And as mentioned earlier, it's better to start slow and build your way up. Spirulina is not FDA approved as a medicine, but it is FDA recognized as safe for consumption as a supplement. And you might be wondering, like I did, why spirulina is only marketed as a supplement instead of a meal foundation as it was in the historic Aztec and Kanembu societies. Well, lucky for you, I did a deep dive into this. So one of the major issues stems from differences in cultivation and processing in this day and age. So there are concerns around contamination in the form of heavy metals from runoff from industrial waste, microcystins, bacteria. Microcystins, by the way, I touched on this earlier, but this is a form of toxin produced by a different strain of cyanobacterium that's not spirulina, but can cause liver toxicity. This contamination can occur in poorly regulated farms, which lead to caution about promoting spirulina as a high-dose or staple food use. Another issue is the cultural context in which spirulina was historically used. So for the Aztecs and Central African societies, spirulina was one of the few nutrient sources in a harsh environment. And in this day and age, in this era of globalization, spirulina is nutrient dense, but it's not necessary as a staple since we have access to varied proteins, vitamins, minerals, different types of grains from all over the world. So now it's viewed as more of a superfood boost rather than a meal foundation. And the final issue is its lack of modern studies looking at high dose consumption of spirulina. If you recall from the research articles I went over, they were only testing 1 to 3 grams of spirulina per day in the human diet rather than anything above that. So ultimately, we just need more human trials looking at higher doses to see if there is any risk or health issues associated with higher doses of spirulina. So the TLDR here is that spirulina is marketed as a supplement, first due to US regulations, modern production differences, lack of large-scale consumption studies, and its role as a nutrient-dense add-on in already rich diets, unlike its historical use as a survival food staple. And now the fun part. How can you use spirulina in your diet? So it's most popularly used in juices and smoothies. So the fruit from the juice or smoothie work to mask the earthy flavor present in spirulina. Of note, spirulina does have a fishy odor, but it does not taste like fish whatsoever. It's more earthy. It's also utilized as capsules or tablet, and this is great for people who don't particularly like that earthy taste of the spirulina powder. I personally am not a fan of using the capsules and tablets, but I will make an exception in this case because a lot of the studies actually do use the pill version of spirulina to see the effects it has on health. And finally, you can also add spirulina to various foods. I've heard of people sprinkling spirulina into soups or even energy bars. And if you guys have your own recipes, please comment down below because I love to hear new ways to make or incorporate spirulina into my diet. And me personally, I actually use spirulina as a supplement for my smoothies. In conclusion, spirulina is an amazing nutrient-dense food with a lot of potential health benefits. But remember, it's not a miracle cure. While research is promising, it's always best to combine it with a balanced diet and consult your doctor before making any big dietary changes. If you're looking for a plant-based protein source with some potential health benefit perks, then spirulina might be worth a try. So if you guys found this video helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button for more science-backed health tips. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!